the most important two most important words right now for each of you is?
Two of them?
Yeah, there's two of them.
Well, it can't be in the moment. It can't. Objectivity and discernment.
Uh,
I am.
objectivity. She's right. Objectivity and discernment. Or we would say discernment and objectivity, because the discernment gives you the objectivity.
Right. That comes first.
But you have to be able to make a decision.
From that.
No. You have to be able to and willing to weigh a dynamic and make an assessment on what's the most loving choice for you. You see, you all forget that dynamic. Bottom line is, when you're faced with all of these situations, what is the most loving choice for you? And that's not being selfish. That's a dynamic of really considering everything. It's a dynamic of discernment, looks at the whole picture. And if you look at the whole picture, all the positive, all of the negative, all of the in sundry things that go, no, we realize that it's difficult to do in the moment, but there are other bigger dynamics in your world that each of you knows that eventually you're going to have to either deal with or put it off for another lifetime, and you can either choose to look at these things or you cannot. And each of you knows in your own way how to compartmentalize, to put things off in a little box and put it out of the way. And then you delude yourselves often to think that you're living a wonderful life, except for this other little piece of myself, which I've never really dealt with, and I don't want to deal with it because it's too this or it's too that, whatever it's too painful, it's too hurtful, it reminds me of the abandonment. And yet, isn't that the emotional, energetic dynamic that it is asking you to face? It is asking you to face that dynamic of energy that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have found recently, looking at some of those dynamics, that I haven't necessarily found a way out through to the other side. I haven't found resolution. I've only found.
Well, but hold on. Do you have to have a complete dynamic of resolution before you begin to make an assessment? An assessment is a series of dynamics of situations that kind of melt together to form a system of belief or a dynamic of what you believe of you're reading pieces of a reflection, and you're taking that reflection and you're trying to discern the underlying message there. You see, you look for simplicity when you should be looking for complexity. Well, if you really think about it, reality is creation. Reality creation is all about thought, word, and feeling. Well, that's three separate dynamics with multiple subheadings.
Mm-hmm.
So the levels of complexity are
myriad.
Now, the thing is to be able to not have to go into complication. Because when you're going to see complications, they're almost energetically like a tangled ball of yarn. And they're little pieces of beliefs and things like that come together in various ways through the dynamics of your experiences, mostly as children and adolescents, that has taken these dynamics and melded so many things together that are disparate, that you seem to be able to never make any sense out of the whole thing. And back in the day, we used to, you used to work with these things on looking at this ball of confusion and picking out just one thread and pulling out the threads and taking a look at what's this little piece is my fear of dogs, and this other little piece is my fear of men, and this other little piece, and they really have nothing to do with each other than their disparate feelings of fear that come together. And so you go looking for the fear and you can never really find it because it's just little shards of shit. And yes, we're being very spiritual today. What we're trying to tell you is just take a look at what's going on in the reflections of your reality. It's important that you understand that there are methods, we can teach you methods for all of this crap, but it's just the long way around, It's like if you can't make a decision about something, what's the old way that we taught you how to on how to deal with it?
Well, you could actually write out the positives and negatives.
That's right. You could actually write out the positive and negative on a piece of yellow paper, and you could actually compare them, and you could make actually a decision and say, well, is this a loving choice for me or is this a loving choice for me? But again, you have to be willing to take a stand.
You might be wrong.
Yeah, well, there is that risk, isn't there? And, how many of you don't choose to not make decisions because of the fear that you might be wrong? Yeah. Well, it's natural, it's normal, and it is just those sorts of things that keep you locked in your old ways of doing and being, your old ways of your need to control or your need to be controlled. It's a very interesting situation, isn't it? As you are moving more and more into a dynamic of an awakening, as your awareness is becoming sharper, as you are beginning to pick up shards of telepathic information from other people, it is life is changing. Life is changing.